Hey everyone, in this devlog I want to show you the creation of another biome. In fact, it is the swamp biome, and as you can see right in the background, I leveled up the terrain and then I used a brush and carved some dents into the terrain. The next step was that I basically took a plane of water, and right now the water is still quite blue. I took the plane of water and put it basically so that it intersected with the terrain, and so that we had a lot of little rivers and little small lakes. And well, still it did not look totally like a swamp, so I put down a mossy texture, followed up by some dirt texture and grass texture, and kept on carving these little rivers into the terrain. Well, I experimented a little bit with the correct height of the water, but pretty much what you see right here is the final outcome. So now it is a bit boring because in the mountain terrain usually we have a lot of hills and interesting terrain features, but for the swamp that's it. And so the next step was putting down the props. Usually when I put down the props, I like starting out with larger rocks and trees. And after I have put down the first big props, I usually start with modeling the combat scenes. So here you can see I modeled a little scene, and since we are in a swamp, I didn't want to put down too many items you would find in a city or in a civilization. So this should be an environment which is very far outside. Alright, but enough talk about the creation process. Now let's look into the result. And as you can see, the light especially I feel is really fitting. It is like this greenish, dusky atmosphere. And well, in this first atmosphere we also have some lights, some magical lights, which try to lure the adventurer into wrong areas. Now here we have a second combat scene, and it's once again very dusky, and also as you can see there is a little fog effect. I think I created a second scene where we also have a fog effect, and in the background we see a little dragon spine, or the spine of a large creature. In terms of vegetation, I didn't want to bring untypical trees like needle trees, but rather typical plants. So here we have a little bridge. This is probably like one of the first items you would find in civilization, but I really wanted to create a swamp as like natural as possible, right? So this should feel like a very abandoned place. Okay, so now let's jump into the next combat scene. And here we got the remains of an adventurer group, right? So in the background you see probably a couple of thieves who tried to hide their belongings. Who knows what story is behind them, but I feel it kinda conveys the right atmosphere. I think I have even a couple more combat scenes, but of course they are all quite similar. So anyways guys, I think that's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you next week. Goodbye.